haven't been in the makeup chair yet.
What are we doing? No, we're good.
Oh, okay, so the last part of the kimchi process. You have to take your lovely red goop
That you made in the blender.
that we have made in
In
the
part
blender
2, right?
and smear it all over your vegetables.
This is daikon radish.
Daikon.
Daikon. D-A-I-K-O-N.
And what else is in there? I don't think we did this
Nothing.
part.
This is just the cabbage that's been salted.
And rinsed thoroughly.
Rinse very
Right,
thoroughly.
because that was what was wrong with the other batch that you showed
The
me.
batch we showed, we didn't rinse enough, so it was pretty salty.
Okay, so why are you wearing bags on your hands?
Number 1, we do not own gloves. Number 2, when making kimchi, you want gloves. Since this has all these peppery, stingy things in it, it will seep into your hands from contact and burn.
This looks like something like a meth lab.
So,
I'm going to stand up here.
I'm not sure
Whoa.
before. It is a little bit messy, but the idea is that
You grab some in your hand.
and
You dunk it.
Why don't you just pour it on there and stir it up with a spoon?
you can, but you have to make sure that each individual piece is completely coated.
Why? Is that important to the fermentation?
It's important
It
to
is.
the fermentation, it's important to the flavor, you need them all to be wet, and all to have the same amount of flavory goodness. So, normally we do start out putting a small amount on, but then you also... mush it.
Thoroughly mix and coat and check.
Right.
And then at the end, you pour whatever's left over.
This looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
It's like a fun
It
project.
smells for
really
the
good.
family.
Yeah, and if you don't want to pour everything on the end, you can save some of the sauce and then use it in like a stir fry. That's what we do.
Right.
I've seen Korean women working together in a group making big batches of kimchi.
Well, it's
from
usually
the
a family
chopping.
event.
Okay.
Which this one is.
Every member of the family will get together. There's like...
We all have our role. Mine is to film.
And taste.
Right. And typically in Korea, at least from what I hear, they make a year's worth of kimchi all at once. So when they soak their cabbage, they soak it in the bathtub.
Or a children's pool.
Yes, I saw that. I saw it in a blue children's pool, child's pool.
Yep.
Did you see them making it when you were there?
No, videos though.
Okay.
It smells so good.
It does.
It's very good in veggie stir fry, the sauce. And since one day kimchi is a thing, like we will eat some when we're done to sort of, you know.
See if it's good.
We have to make sure it's good enough.
Well, yeah, and to get the unique flavor, because the pear is much stronger on the first day.
On the third day, it's calmed down a little, but not too much. And then
Now
3
I smell
week
it.
tastes like what you would taste in Korea.
And I think it's important to note that when you eat kimchi, you must eat it with your loved one.
At
Yes.
the same time.
Yeah.
Although now I really want teriyaki chicken and some very bland macaroni salad.
Well, you know, we can do
Right.
that.
Plate
We have
lunch.
chicken.
I want plate lunch from Hawaii. Oh my gosh. And kimchi is
Oh,
a
be
very
careful,
integral
son,
part of that
you're
whole
dripping.
Sorry, darling.
mix.
Well, it is. And when we eat the kimchi, we normally eat it with bulgogi, which is basically teriyaki beef, and it's delicious.
So when you spread the stuff on the radish, you then put the radish in the bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay
Now-
doing multiple, right? I can
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it in here.
Yes.
And you
So
just
there's
want-
radish and cabbage in the white bowl.
Yes.
Correct.
And then you're coating it with the sauce that we covered in part
Yes.
2.
Yes.
Correct.
And now you're putting it in the silver bowl.
Right.
Correct.
And then what are we going to do?
Then you put a layer of plastic wrap down.
Are we going to do that after you guys are done coating?
After we're done, you
All right, we'll
squeeze it
show that.
down,
We'll show that.
You squeeze it down, and close it on up.
Little pungent there, Sister Kate?
Awesome.
But yeah, and Mama, once you start getting a bunch of the goop on your hands, you can just use the goop that's already there
Right.
to get the small pieces.
You must save the goop. Be a good steward of the goop.
Yes.
The goop is the valuable stuff. Sorry.
And
I think your gloves are hilarious.
They're functional.
something to note, Koreans will eat kimchi with every meal.
Oh yeah, 3 meals a day. Absolutely.
We had, when we were eating our breakfasts,
In
the
Korea.
one thing we got to eat the day while we were poor, they would bust out kimchi that was primarily the radish in
Okay.
cubes.
Yeah?
And that is another type of kimchi. You can pretty much kimchi anything.
Right. It's kind of like pickling, or
I mean, it's essentially the same
Fermenting,
thing.
yeah.
And it is a way. I mean, this is important too. I don't think we covered this part. This is a way of preserving, in this case, radish and cabbage.
Correct.
Because once we make kimchi, it'll last a long time.
Well,
And tastes good.
as Kat said on her blog post, it is very good for you.
Hey,
as
what's
well.
your? You can
Pimp your blog?
Shameless plugging.
yes.
My blog is Lady Israelites at Blogspot, I'm pretty sure. But if you just type in Lady Israelite blog, it should pop up. I do some analysis. Oh, I know. Food stuff.
Did you do
stories.
one on why you're not wearing a head covering?
I did.
I know. Okay, so Lady Israelite blog. Maybe at blogspot.com or something.
And you can see me explain why long hair's all right on dudes.
Do you have a thing on your blog about kimchi?
Yes,
Yeah.
she does.
All right.
So this will be cool. I can link it and be like, oh, here's the video if you're more of a visual learner.
Ooh, English teacher stuff. This is where it gets important to do it by hand. Do you see this little thing?
Yes.
Yes, this is the bottom of the cabbage, and it has many little folds, and you have to get it in every one of them.
And the question may occur, why don't you just cut off that part? Why don't you just separate
Because that would
those?
be wasting it.
Well, it would be wasting, but also, those taste the best.
Of any of them.
They tend
Okay.
to be more crunchy
Uh-huh.
and more fun to eat.
All right.
So that's, you don't want to
We
do
may
that.
not have any extra sauce.
You might not.
I don't know.
It's no horrible thing.
You can also make sauce separately if you
Yes,
don't like
you
it.
can.
Of course.
To dip your chocolate chip cookie in and so forth, you know.
It's good on vanilla ice cream, right?
Have it with
Hey,
your tea,
there is a
cracker.
Korean out there who has done it. Probably one who was desperate while in college.
Kimchi soup is a thing.
Yeah,
Kimchi
absolutely.
Normally also unclean. I've never had it myself because of the whole unclean thing. It's normally made with like pork shank or something.
Ugh.
But if you make this kosher kimchi and look up a recipe, you can probably replace the pork with beef and have some delicious spicy soup. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Normally the sauce goes longer. It's not like we had a lot of cabbage this time.
Who's surreptitiously sneaking the sauce?
Oh,
The cat.
It's probably more that we're spilling more of it. Oh no.
Hey, speak for yourself. I have very little spilling.
Cat's
on my
making a
side.
mess.
Well, because I gotta gesture and talk.
A very important part of the process.
Oh, yeah. You've already seen a good way to store it is in like old pickle jars. And it will sort of taste like the pickles also.
Well, you could wash the pickle jar.
I did.
Really?
Twice.
Twice.
I hear
Still
you
tastes
can
like pickle.
Also take it out into the yard and bury it in the pickle jar and dig it up in a couple
Well-
of weeks.
Ah, that is, clay pots was what the Koreans traditionally and originally fermented their kimchi in. I actually saw a humongous, like,
Kimchi pot.
500-gallon kimchi pot at
Right.
the Royal Palace.
Do you know if the clay had a glaze on it? Or was
It didn't look like it. It looked like...
Because it's very porous, I've heard.
When I was there, they had, I don't know, they looked like they were probably 15 or 20 gallon kimchi pots that were at many houses out, like on the
It seems
front
like they have a
porch.
plain brown glaze.
At
plain brown. I
the
would think
Imperial
so.
Palace, or not
Otherwise
Imperial,
it's gonna
the palace
soak
up
into
in Seoul. There's this one section in the yard that has, you know, pots as tall as me, this wide, that were all used for kimchi.
Okay.
This is also there is a sauerkraut, is the, European version to
The German version.
right,
No,
to
because
preserve
that's
cabbage
just like water
and
and
salt.
stuff.
Right.
Salt
Alright,
lime.
so
This is
Is-
the final product, sorta,
Well,
kinda.
Until we ferment it.
Yes.
So, part of the thing here, what you should do, notice that we knocked it flat. You want to try to get it all
flat
on
as
one
compressed.
layer. Right, and compressed, and if you have extra sauce, you can pour the extra sauce on top. And then we're gonna seal it over after snacking on a little bit, and then you just leave it alone in a cool, dry place where it won't be much disturbed, like a closet or
Try
the
to make
dining
it
room
airtight.
table. And for 3 weeks, and that's ideal for the taste. So,
Does it stink up your whole house?
not really.
Not particularly.
Because somebody made a comment on the first video, it's gonna stink or something.
No, when you make just the radish kimchi, this daikon radish, these pieces. This stuff, the more of this you have, the more stinky it will smell. The first kimchi we made, we didn't smell the cabbage kimchi at all. The radish kimchi, very, very, very much so. Kimchi, no. But if you're worried about the smell, or perhaps if yours is more smelly, you can put it in a closet. You can put it just somewhere out of the way.
I remember when Sister Kate made sauerkraut the first time, which ended up being delicious, but we thought that thing, I said, how do you know when you're not making sauerkraut anymore and you're rotting cabbage in the kitchen?
Alright, so here, we'll pull out a couple pieces for us to eat, and then we'll seal it up.
Alright, let's show the sealing, and then we'll say goodbye.
Can I itch somebody's nose for him? Can I itch your nose right now?
No. Alright, so hold on. Ugh. Note, we used
Wash
hair
the
bands to
hairbands.
hold on. To keep the bags on, wash them. Don't put them back in your hair.
That would be a terrible idea.
Alright.
Where's the plastic wrap? Oh, you have it.
Yeah, I am prepared.
Alright, so we're going to do this.
Right.
Girl Scout.
Alright, so you
I'll
want
grab
the
the lid.
plastic wrap to completely adhere to the level of the kimchi itself. So push it down on the edges, try to make sure there's no air bubbles.
Now, is this going to generate liquid?
No.
Okay.
Not really. Or not much.
It's going to stay about this moist
Yep.
through the whole process?
Yep.
Alright.
Yep. And it'll generate a little bit of steam, the fermentation gases, but it's not a cloud, it's not colored, there's
Right.
not really much to see. So you kind of seal it down, push the plastic down into it along the edges. And you can do this in Tupperware. If you do, same thing, plastic wrap to the level of the kimchi, then the Tupperware lid.
And you
We've
put the
done
lid
it.
all the way on?
Yes.
Do you have to burp it every now and then or not?
Nope.
Okay.
As long as it's not completely full of the kimchi, that should not be a problem. Now, I've heard that if you try to fill it very, very full, the top may come off.
Okay.
We have not had that problem. So, you just put on the lid.
Oh, and you have a relatively tight fitting lid.
Yeah, this one actually doesn't close all the time, and that's why we stack big books on it.
Then
Keep it sealed.
you can put your favorite fantasy series on it.
But,
Alright.
3 weeks from now, that'll be kimchi.
Yay.
And it will be delicious.
Alright. Say bye-bye.
Bye, thank you for watching.
Shalom.